Alright, quick introduction here. I shot a video today about retuning the motor that was on the Delta trike. It's a 750 watt 48 volt motor that was set up to spin in one direction, and I really need it to spin in the opposite direction. So I'm going to consider this a bonus content. If people want to watch it, great. If you don't want to watch it, no big deal. It's got some relevance to the electric bike projects. Not much, probably not much interest for a lot of other people. So if you're not into it, don't worry about it, and stay tuned for other more exciting stuff. Yeah, on with the show. Like and subscribe and comments. Okay, bye.
Battery, motor controller, and throttle. The rest of it less important. This motor spins in one direction, and for the next project I need the motor to spin in the opposite direction. On a brushless motor, which this is, you've got 3 wire phases, blue, green, and yellow. Make a little flag on the shaft, and then you can see which way it's turning easier. Battery, motor controller, this is wired the correct way. So the 3 phase wires for the motor are yellow going to yellow, green to green, blue to blue, and then the power feed is red, black, okay, as it should be. And then these little wires over here are what's called the Hall effect sensors. Basically inside the motor, it's got sensors that can tell it which position the motor is in, so that it can tell the controller, send me blue, or send me, actually, send me yellow, send me green, send me blue. And then it'll fire the correct order. Otherwise, it's kind of like in your car, if you had a 4-cylinder car or whatever, if number 1 cylinder fired at the wrong time, it wouldn't run very good, or it wouldn't run at all, or it would run backwards. So, same kind of thing. Alright, I got this long wire. I'm just going to use it since I've already made it. And we're going to plug it in, and hopefully no smoke, or this is going to be a short day. A little pop, that's normal. Okay. Now if I come over here and grab my throttle, it should go this way. Alright, so let's see what it does. Yep. Okay, definitely clockwise. Alright, so I'm going to unplug the battery. And apparently, all I have to do is switch 2 of these 3 wires. So I'm going to switch blue and green, and then it should spin backwards. If that doesn't work, we might also have to change the order of the Hall effect sensor wires, but we may not have to. I first saw this on flight test. They do radio controlled airplanes and stuff like that. And they're like, yeah, if your motor spins backwards, which would be bad if your propeller, if the motor spins backwards, just change 2 of the wires and it'll change the orientation. That's all there is to it. So either this will fix it, or we might have to change the little wires for the Hall effect sensors, or both. So this was not, there was virtually no instructions that came with this motor. So actually, I think there was no instructions, if I remember right. So this probably won't ruin anything. If it does, like I said before, this will be a short day. So when I plug the battery in and hit the throttle, it should go the opposite direction. We'll see. A little pop. Alright, we want it to go this way. Okay, not yet. So now we got to mess with the little wires. I would be a terrible YouTuber if I didn't show you the exact steps I'm taking to avoid my warranty. So I'm just taking the blue and the green wire, which is the same. These are the wires that sense the big coils. Okay, so I'm going to take the blue and the green, batteries disconnected. I'm just going to cut them both. And we're going to switch them. So I'm just going to strip off some of the wire, enough that I can just twist it together, and that'll be how we test this. And then if it does work, then we'll come back and do it more permanently, probably solder them, put heat shrink in, you know, all those good things that the smart people do. Okay, so I'm going to take the blue wire and I'm going to twist it on the green wire. I had to do the same thing on the electric bike when I first got the Bafang motor. I could hear the motor spinning, but it wasn't doing anything, and the motor was internally it was spinning backwards. And on that motor, it's got a freewheel so that it'll coast. Like if you let off the throttle, it'll just coast instead of the motor trying to slow you down. So what was happening is the motor was spinning backwards and not spinning the wheel. It was, you know, the freewheel was spinning. Basically changing one thing at a time. So first we changed the main wires, then we put them back, then we changed the hall wires, and then we'll put them back, and then we'll change all of them if that's what it takes. The hall wires switched, the other wires, the main wires, back, and it didn't blow it up the last time, so I think we're on the right track. Little pop. Okay. Battery connected, motor wires, hall wires backwards. Throttle coming on. Okay, same problem. So now, we'll go blue, green, and green, blue. This motor controller actually has a reverse feature built into it, but it's kind of clunky. In fact, I didn't know it had it until I accidentally hit reverse one time. And fortunately, it wasn't when I was on the trike. This was on Delta. And all of a sudden I realized, it was actually, no, it was on the jack. I was playing around with something. And all of a sudden I realized that the wheel was spinning the wrong way, and then I had to figure out what did I just do to do that. There might be a switch that I can do it, but I actually had it triggered off of the brakes somehow. Hit the brake and the throttle at the same time, and all of a sudden it goes in reverse. That's not a good feeling if it happened accidentally. Okay, we'll try it again. Should go this way. Nope. Boogers. Okay. That was supposed to work. So we switched the motor leads, that didn't work. We switched the hall leads, that didn't work. We switched them both, that didn't work. Okay, I'm going to switch everything back to where it was when it did work. And I've always wondered if, like when I first hooked this all up on Delta, I grabbed a handful of wires and started testing until something worked, and then I left it alone. Maybe the switch that I thought was the brake switch wire isn't actually the brake switch wire. It's a possibility. So since that's how I got the motor to go in reverse accidentally, I'm going to test that next. Okay, battery's disconnected. So first we're going to put this back into regular mode and make sure that it still works. Oops. Here we are, third week of November, and it is gorgeous. I started with my sweatshirt. I'm just down to my t-shirt again, which is nice. All right, flip these guys back. And then I'm going to test with the brake switch and see if I can get it to go into reverse, because basically I only want to change the direction. I'm never going to go forward and then reverse. I just want it to go in the opposite direction. So I can figure out the right combination and just get it to stay there. I just don't want it to ever accidentally change direction on me. That would be really inconvenient. Okay, that. Make sure those stay apart. We should be going in the correct direction again. Okay, we haven't ruined anything. That's good. Now, the yellow and white wires is what was my reverse, my brake switch wire. These were connected on the electric bike controllers. When you hit the brakes, there's a little switch in the brake. On a motorcycle, that would be what turns on your brake lights. On an electric bike, that just tells the controller to quit working. You know, so that as soon as you hit the brakes, it stops. Okay. So, if I just hold these two together, I'm not even going to twist them yet. This should go backwards. And then if I let go, it should go forward again. Because I would really hate to build an electric motorcycle and realize it's stuck in reverse all the time. Or have it accidentally go in reverse. Okay, so battery connected, brake, what I'm calling the brake switch, is connected as if I was holding the brakes on. And then this should go backwards. Alright, and then we'll disconnect it. I want to get an idea if it sounds like it's going about as fast. It's more rattly going that way. I'm not sure if it's faster. It's louder. Okay, put the switch back on and then go backwards. Okay. So all I've got to do is, oh, now here's another question. Now that we got that figured out. So very likely when I wired this bike for Delta, I used the wrong set of wires, thinking that was the brake wire. And one of the things that always was happening, if I slowed down like I was going to stop, if I hit the brakes and then decided I didn't want to stop, I actually had to come to a complete stop before the throttle would work again. And I think what was happening is I had triggered reverse mode, and then the controller was saying, no, we're not going into reverse because the motor is still spinning because we're still rolling up to the stop. So it would have to come to a complete stop, and then it would let me go again. Didn't matter if I was changing directions or not. It thought I was going to change directions. Now that I think about it, that was probably because I had the wrong wire. But it worked, and so I just went with it. So that's probably what this other connector is for. Maybe I've got a brake switch over here that I didn't, or a brake wire that I didn't know about. Oh yeah, I've got a bunch of connectors over here. Yeah, I wonder what they're all for. I have no idea what these were supposed to be for. Once I got this thing to work, I stopped. I didn't mess with it anymore. And why would you, right? But odds are, shit, I don't got a 2-wire connector. I've got a 3-wire connector. That could have been pedal assist. That would be a 3-wire. I've got, this is 2 wires. And it didn't come with any of the extra connectors, right? So let's see if this is a brake switch. Maybe I can make that be a brake switch. This is the orange and black Battery's disconnected. I'm just going to chop it off that way. I'm never going to use that connector because I don't have the matching one for it. Okay, these two, if I touch them, that should be my brakes. And we're still in reverse mode, which I'm just going to leave that. I'm not going to worry about it anymore. Okay, get the throttle going. Okay, we're going in reverse. See if I can hold this one-handed. And then if I touch this for the brakes, stops. Huh. There's my brake switch. Oh, that is so funny. The whole time I'm riding the Delta trike, I didn't know that. Or I never took the time to figure it out. Okay. We just made our life a whole lot better here. I will never need reverse for what I want to do. I just want to change the direction of travel. And we have achieved that. Excellent. Okay. Now that I've got a piece of tape that's white, I'm going to tape these and then put a little label on it so I know that that is my brake wire. Brake switch. I quite often, if I remember, I will buy white electrical tape so I can write on it. Okay, what we have accomplished so far is we've got this motor to spin in the opposite direction. That's really important because for anybody who was wondering why the motorcycle is parked out here, because of a lot of reasons. The motorcycle, since I've bought it, has never been super reliable. I've always wanted to make an electric motorcycle bigger than an electric bicycle. To do that, having a motorcycle to start with is a clever shortcut. Then you just replace the gas motor with an electric motor. Since we have a lot of experience with electric motors, they tend to be very reliable. I don't need gas, I don't need oil, I don't need coolant. I just need electricity. Okay. The rest of the motorcycle, yeah, we could still break a chain, which we've done a lot of. We could still get flat tires, but as long as we have enough electricity, it'll work. It'll always go. It doesn't, like we just went through. There's about, I don't know, I'm not going to say 100, but there's multiple reasons why a motorcycle won't start. But an electric motorcycle, if it's got power, it'll go. Okay. To build an electric motorcycle, one of the biggest challenges is batteries are heavy and expensive. So if I wanted, for instance, to go 100 miles, that would be, I'm going to say thousands of dollars worth of batteries. You know, I only paid $4,000 for this motorcycle when I bought it. And when I moved out here, I was 100 miles from work, and so I would have needed 100 miles worth of batteries just to get to work, and then figure out how to charge it, and then get home and have to charge it again. Okay. So that would have been a really tough project to have to, because of the 100 miles, not because of putting it together. There's some challenges, but it's a fairly easy thing to do because I've already done most of the steps on other projects. So I kind of know how to do that. Well, then a couple days ago, like literally, I was going to sell the motorcycle. I figured $500 because it's got everything wrong with it. The back tire is worn out. The front tire has tread, but it leaks. The front forks are leaking oil out. The motor doesn't run very good. It's oxidized. It's been in the sun for years, you know. So it's got a bunch of little niggly things. You know, the $4,000 I paid for it, it was in good shape when I bought it. So if I was to sell it, I think if I said $500, if somebody bought it for $500 and then put $1,500 worth of work into it, then it would be a good deal for them. This motor that we're testing came off of Delta with 3 batteries. I had 2 of these batteries plus 1 more. That was enough to get to work and back. Okay, 12 miles each way. If I convert the motorcycle and use the same motor and the same batteries, we might be able to get to work and back. That's a starting point. If I can use the bicycle batteries I have, at least for prototyping, then I can prove that it does work, and then I can start to get an idea how many amp hours or how many watt hours per mile am I using. Future goal, when I get my van and I sell the ranch, this I could put on the back bumper and use it just for playing around on and not trying to go anywhere that's important. So where I was just going to sell the motorcycle to try to get rid of it, now if I can keep it and make it at least fun, you know, I don't have to be useful, I just want it to be fun. Try it and see. We don't know, but we'll try it and see. So the next step, I'm going to pick up all the electrics and get them out of the way, and we're going to start just ripping this thing apart with the end goal of getting the gas motor out of there, and then I can start mocking up to put the electric in.